Welcome to the Jamodi podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it.
Coaches, the Jamodi podcast is powered by Scoreboard Media. Scoreboard Media works with high schools across the country to run professional sponsorship programs on their LED scoreboards. Whether you already have LED and you just want to supercharge the revenue, or you want to use sponsorship revenue to buy new LED video scoreboards, Scoreboard Media can help. They work with sponsors and advertisers locally, regionally, and nationally who want to connect with your school's community. Email info@scoreboardmedia.com to start the conversation and see what's possible.
Yeah, the preparation part of it is the biggest thing. Yeah, I agree with you.
Say it again. Oh, the preparation part.
Is the key. You got to be already thinking 2-3 steps ahead, and I'm sure that comes with experience. Knowing that it's going to come, but they don't know. They don't think so.
Yeah,
they don't think it will.
Yeah, and part of it is I think our continuing education as coaches. I wouldn't have ever thought about talking about how our culture is going to fail with my team before talking with Shawnee. I would have never thought about. She also talked about the fear of losing, how we have to get over the fear of losing because the most dangerous team is the one that's not afraid to lose, and how to get our teams to understand like that fine line. Again, we're all talking about fine lines that we want to be on of I don't care if I lose to I'm not afraid to lose. Very different ideas there, and getting our guys, our teams to be that dangerous style of team. I would have never thought about bringing up losing to my team early on. Like I don't want that to be in their mind. I want them to think they're invincible. Well, maybe they are. Maybe you're Duncanville, and maybe you should probably win every game. But if you're like most teams, and if you're the one in control of the schedule, and here are 2 games that, like, we play them 10 times. We got a shot, but we have to be prepared for that, or else. That's how I think you learn from losing. That's how you learn from negative moments throughout your year. But Coach, I wouldn't have 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have never thought of that. We have to continuously listen to other people. And like Jordan Peterson says, believe that everybody in front of you that you talk to, you can learn something from them. Because I know for a fact I've learned a lot from you already today. And even though I've known you before, but even in this coaching talk we've had, I think that's the beauty of the game is we keep growing.
Yeah. I mean, you see, I got my notes too. I'm learning from you, Coach, and I'm constantly learning. I learn on Twitter. I see coaches say certain things, and I've learned. Like you said, it's just light bulbs. It's like, man, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of this. Right? I mean, I have a team meeting today. Now we're going to talk about what happens when. Our standards, when do our standards come in play? When this happens, when that happens, are we going to apply it? So now that's a great question. That's a great question.
And let them, I just get a marker and on the whiteboard, I'll let them answer it all. Yeah. Like I don't come in with this set number of, I want to make sure I write down when a player comes off the floor and they barely shake my hand and they grumble down to the end of the bench. What are we going to do when that happens? Like, I don't have an agenda with it. I really want to see what they come up with. The crazy thing is, coaches, they typically come up with the things that they really can't stand that happen. And you learn that about your team, and you're right on the money. It goes back to, I think most players want to please. Those players that maybe are the ones that talk about themselves after a loss, that grumble on the way down, I think deep down they know. Yeah, they shouldn't do that. But it's like anything else in this life or this world, like it's a defense mechanism. They're trying to portray something that they're really not. They're trying to hide how hurt or how frustrated they really are. And that comes out in different ways for different people. And I think, but a talk like this where, again, the temperature is low and we can, with a cool mind, get all this stuff out. It's just helpful in the long run, in my opinion.
No, definitely, Coach. I definitely agree with that.
You mentioned something too, that about all the admin stuff that you've been learning. I think that's one of the shifts from 19 inches as the assistant to the head coach, it's not really like, it's not the X's and O's.
Yeah.
It's all the other stuff that you have to worry about. And in my opinion, for a lot of coaches, it's the admin stuff that gets you fired or gets you in trouble. If you, I've always felt this way, if I'm taking care of the communication, the scheduling, the organization, the admin side of my job, and then discipling, mentoring the right way, and the plan is at least the plan makes sense on the floor. Doesn't mean it's always successful, but at least makes sense. I think that I could be here for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I think it, but the moment that the admin, the communication, the organization part drops and there's holes there, then the court stuff becomes magnified, where it's like, and they don't win, and it doesn't look like they have a plan, and they're not this and that, they're not disciplined. But I think you're right on the money with spending a lot of time on that side of it.
Yeah, you're spending 2 hours on the court, and the rest of that time is in the office, and it's not always watching film and always just hanging out. It's just trying to get everything done for, like I said, 40 players. You got to make sure all the academics is in order, their housing and the meal plans, and like just so much stuff that you got to make sure they're okay, but they're communicating right with their professors, that they're doing their work, their class work, and they're showing up for study halls, and I mean just. And you just gotta go down that checklist every day, every day.
You utilize your assistants to help with that stuff as well?
I do. I try to get them the low maintenance guys.
Yeah.
Not try to put too much on their plate, but it's hard for me, even as I'm the head coach now, but I'm just so hands-on. And my assistants were saying, like, Coach, let me do this, let me do that. When I'm doing something, grabbing the jerseys and getting them ready, like, Coach, let me do that. I'm like, sorry, I already got started. I'm just hands-on. I just like to make sure things are done. And it's not that they can't do it. It's just, the pace that I move at, I love working.
I wonder what point in a coach's journey do they start to delegate more? I wonder, I don't know if it, like Rick Torbett said, you become the head coach you're supposed to be, or you really know yourself as a head coach after 10 years or so. That's what he said. That after you learn and fail a bunch of times, you kind of start to realize, okay, this is what I'm comfortable teaching. This is the culture that I feel like we should have. You become kind of set in that, and for better, for worse. But I wonder where the delegating picks up. Maybe some people just naturally have that ability. I was more like you. I wanted to do all of the things that it kind of takes to run a program. But then there's that balance between, I need to trust my assistants enough to give them, to let them do things. But at the end of the day, we have to remember, I don't think anybody's level of care is going to be as high as ours, because we're the ones that get in trouble for everything. But I don't know, Coach, when do you think it happens?
I think what you're saying is right. It's the trust thing. It's not like I can't say I don't trust them, but I just trust myself. And I know I know I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna get it done the way I want it done. So maybe after I do it a few times, whatever it is, they see the way I've done it, and then I'll be like, okay, we need this done. And they do it the exact way that I would have done it. So I think it's more of me just trying to, without even knowing, trying to show them and then give them an example of how we need to get certain things done. I think it's more of that. Once I think they just on their own, because I was kind of like that with Coach Singleton. I wouldn't even ask anymore. I'll just start doing things. And the next thing you know, I was responsible for it. He never had to worry about a lot of things, outside of the admin stuff and the program overall. All the little things I used to just take care of without even asking. So I think maybe my assistants will get to that point too. They would know exactly what needs to be done, and they'll do it.
I don't think I'm very good at what we're talking about, teaching assistants and asking them or enabling them to do more. Part of it isn't, maybe you're in a similar way, because you said you want to give them the low maintenance players. Most of my guys are part-time. They just show up and they give me the very, very best that they can for that amount of time. So I think what I do there is I choose, but maybe it's really more I'm just a control freak, but I choose to give them less things to do, make it easier and easier on them. But I was just thinking about, like, I wouldn't coach my players that way. I would teach them standards of what to do and how we expect it to be done, and then hold them accountable, but also show patience at times. I don't know. I don't think I treat my assistant coaches like that. But yes, there's a difference between players and coaches. But at the same time, teaching is teaching. And the way you teach your players on the floor probably is the way that assistant coaches need to be taught. And I'm speaking to myself more about this than luckily I've got a teacher here that he played for me, and he is in our athletic period every day with me. And he's great. He does little things, get the clock set up basketballs, and he's always positive throughout the workouts. But I'm very comfortable. We have 43 minutes. I've got my plan. With my PGC training, I can take the whole gym, teach them wide, bring them in close, send them back out, make my circles, and I feel like all the players feel like I'm coaching them. But I don't really give him a lot of direction. Why is that? Is it really because I don't trust what he'll say or do with those guys? Or is it I'm just not zooming out enough? I'm just in my own, I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
I think I could be better for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's something like you hit it on the nose. Why is it that I do that? Like, why am I not holding them to a standard, like you said, that we hold the players to, teach them and then hold them to that standard, I don't know. That's a good question, coach. That's something to think about. That's something.
Well, okay, full transparent moment. I think like spending a little bit of time on this it's time. I can get it done faster if I just do it. If I just, like you said with the laundry, like I can take them through the skill work, and I can get touches on all 30 of them if I just do it.
Mhm.
I need to value enough taking the time to work through some things with him, and whether it's, even if it's during, like maybe give up a little bit of instruction after I teach and I send them out, to bring him in and say, okay, let's split this up, and here are the things that we're looking for. Here are the keys. We're not coaching everything right now. We're coaching these 3 things. And then let's go. But I think it's just because I know that I can get it done really fast, and it's a little bit of selfishness to a point on my part.
Yeah. Like you said, I think it's just knowing yourself and knowing how you can get it done. Your communication of how to communicate with them through the skill work. I think that's it. It's just you trusting yourself so much more, I think. And maybe I know I got an idea is that last year, I think it was last year or the year before, Coach Singleton started giving me a daily checklist, making sure it's this done, that done, this done every day. So I think maybe I'll give him a daily checklist, and that's something he'll come in every day, and he'll just make sure that he go down his list each day, and that'll get it done.
I like that. What are some things that you think would be, like, just right off the top of your head, would be on your checklist for them?
The first thing is making sure that all the guys' practice uniforms are ready for practice. Making sure he go through his emails and that he making sure that we don't have any meetings or anything set up. Making sure that the locker room is clean, that these guys are taking care of the locker room. Just making sure all the balls are pumped up. Like small things that make a big difference.
Yeah.
Make sure the iPad is charged up so that when we go to practice, we can use the iPad for the clock, or we won't have a clock at practice at all. So it's a lot of small things like that. Checking in with some of the players, or you sending out some text messages to the players and just making sure they're going to class and that the team knows the schedule for the day. Just small things like that I don't have to worry about.
I was chuckling a little bit, but you said the basketballs, making sure they're aired up.
Yeah.
That always seems to come about when you're at the most annoyed level of practice. I'm frustrated with something, and then I go to grab a ball and it's flat. And then it's like, it just piles on in that moment. And I think the more that we can enlist managers or coaches to help with those things is huge. I was thinking for our second period athletics, definitely. Now, sometimes I'm in there before him because of schedule, so I'll get the clock going, but definitely him knowing, because we have kind of a new clock system here with score vision that is, we're learning on the fly. But another thing I was thinking about would be positive touches with every player. So some type of high five, fist bump, pat on the back, and also saying every player's name at least one time, so that throughout the 43 minutes, myself and my assistant, we get a positive touch with everybody and everybody hears their name at least twice. Like, I think that would be very helpful. And then after like today we worked on Brunson's. We put in Brunson's for the first time because we're starting to install flow. And before I do that, I have to teach them stride stop, flip the hips, chill dribble, and then attack. After we go out, like I want him to come over to me and let's have a 10-second meeting. Hey, let's really look for this, and this. But him initiate, because if I don't initiate, I will either forget or I'll just blow and go. I think I love the checklist idea, and I think those are a few things. And then one celebration. Today he had a really good celebration that I thought, man, I want him to do that more. One celebration from something he saw every workout. That's good, Coach.
Yeah, I like that. The saying every player name, I like that. Because it goes, the practices go by, and I'm like, I didn't see anything to this guy.
Were you here? Were you here today?
I really like it. I never thought about that.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.